The ninja team was originally Kai, Jay, Zane and Cole, but later on Lloyd joined in when he became the Green Ninja, but then not long after that Nia joined and became the Master of Water, and that was the team for the longest time, 7 years, 10 seasons. But with Dragons Rising, things have shaken up a little bit with Aaron and Sora and of course Wildfire. And we've also seen the ninjas' roles change. Lloyd is now a master, Zane is filling in Pixel's role, for now at least. Cole is off doing his own thing for the most part, and Jay has lost his memory and turned evil. But that's enough, let's start off with the ranking. So unsurprising for most, Wildfire is in last place. I mean, in Dragons Rising Part 2, especially the first half, she was super annoying. In fact, she was probably the only Ninjago character that I have actually hated. She was especially bad in episode 13, wildly inappropriate. She just made that episode super annoying to watch. But I do have to say that in episode 16, Land of Lost Things, she does start to get better when Heatwave is hurt and Kai teaches her to go through the motions. And from then on, she was a lot more calm and less loud. But when she was, it wasn't as obnoxious. And keep in mind that this video was filmed before season 2 has come out. And at this stage we know that Wildfire has gotten her leg injured, and a lot of people are saying this could make Wildfire calm down a little bit because it will make her realize that she isn't as invincible as she thought it was. And if this is true, I'm all for it, and in the future Wildfire could climb a few spots on this list. So Zane is 7th on this list because I've never really been a big fan of Zane. Don't get me wrong, I still like him, just not as much as the other ninjas. This is mainly because, especially in Dragons Rising, and as I mentioned earlier, he is currently taking over Pixel's role while missing. And by that, I mean it seems Zane is now pretty much always staying at the monastery and doesn't really go on missions too often anymore. Also, in past seasons, Zane has kind of just only felt like the robot. Every major thing that has gone through since the beginning has been because he was a robot. From sacrificing himself and coming back to him constantly being either manipulated by Vex or just being damaged every second season. And I know that Doc White has said that there are plans for Zane to become more than just a robot, but until then, he will have to sit in second last. Next up is Nia, who I think is a fantastic character. From just being Kai's sister at the start, then becoming Samurai X, and then training to become the Water Ninja, and then sacrificing herself by merging with the sea. She has always just been such a great character, up until Crystallized, where she swiftly came back and turned human again. But at least there were some consequences to her merging with the sea, right? She doesn't have her powers anymore. Well, you would be wrong, because less than 20 episodes later, she regained her powers, and when she didn't have her powers, she was consistently shown as incapable of doing anything on her own. Just look at her encounter with the mechanic, and this wouldn't be as bad, well, it would still be bad, just not as bad, if we didn't see Nia for the first 4 seasons of the show be able to consistently keep up with the rest of the ninja without having elemental powers. But regardless, I still really like Nia as a character, but not as much as I like Sora, because she is in 5th place. So when I first saw Sora in the set images, I did not think I was going to like her. I'm not sure what it was, I just did not like her. But when the first episode came out, like most people, I ended up really liking Sora as a character, and that stayed the same for the rest of the season. And even though she has only been in 1 season so far, she has gone through so much development, and none of it has felt even slightly rushed. Also, her elemental powers arc was great. It started off with Ryu giving Sora a boost of elemental energy, which allowed Sora to use her tech powers for the very first time. And speaking of this, hopefully eventually get an explanation of how she did this in the future. But anyway, she then started to doubt that the powers are actually hers, which then makes her feel useless. But then at the end of the season, she sees her parents again, who even after everything they have seen and heard about the Empress, they still believed in her, and it made Sora realize that if her parents abandon her, then she doesn't need them. which then unlocks her true potential. It was a great arc, and I am excited to see her next season. So, Lloyd is in 4th spot, which may seem odd seeing as he is the main character of the entire show, but after recently re-watching the show, I noticed that there hasn't really been a time where I have been a massive Lloyd fan other than the Oni trilogy. Don't get me wrong, I have never disliked Lloyd, but what I do like is that we have seen him grow up across the entire series. He was a bratty child at the start, then he became the destined Green Ninja, then the Golden Ninja, and then until season 8, Lloyd didn't really go through much besides getting possessed, and the same pretty much can be said for seasons 11 to 14. In Crystallized, he did get a lot of focus, especially with his Oni form, but of course, that was never actually paid off. But now in Dragon's Rising, I've really started to like Lloyd again. I really like the direction he is going with right now, with him being Aaron and Sora's master, and I'm really excited with his whole Source Dragon conduit story. Now moving on to Cole, who has been slowly moving up the ranks for me in recent years. In the early days, they never really did anything interesting with his character, and they tried to correct this in Rebooted with the love triangle, but if anything, that just made things worse. Then they did give Cole a bit more focus in season 4, which was really good, but it was nothing massive. But that changed in possession when he became a ghost. Personally, I think that this is the second best thing that has ever happened to his character. We will shortly get onto the number 1 thing though. But him being a ghost made him obviously stand out from the others on the team, and it also helped him move into the spotlight. And then in Day of the Departed, and as much of a dumpster fire as that was, I still really enjoyed Cole's story and how they showed just how much of a good guy he was, which from then on we got to see more of this side of Cole with Baby Wu, Crag, and most recently those guys from the Land of Lost Things. But of course, how can we talk about Cole without mentioning the Master of the Mountain season? Cole really needed his own season because up until this point, each ninja basically had at least 2 seasons which they were the focus or at least in the spotlight. But Cole only really had a little bit in season 5. So in season 13, Cole truly showed us how good of a character he was, and it definitely made a lot of fans, including myself, start to become really big fans of Cole. Kai is in 3rd place, and if it wasn't for Dragon's Rising, Kai easily could have been in a completely different spot on this list. As I'm sure you all know that Kai throughout seasons 8 to 15 was basically a side character compared to the other ninja. Even in his focus season, season 11, the only thing that he went through that entire season was that he lost his powers, and then like 10 episodes later, he got them back for no real reason. And this was just really disappointing because in the earlier seasons, Kai was almost everyone's favorite ninja. But as I said before, in Dragon's Rising, Kai has gotten a lot better. He is still used as a comic relief character at times, but now he has also shown that he has gotten a lot more mature, like when he trains Wildfire, and I really like that. So now 2nd place is Jay, who was my favorite for a long time, but since we haven't seen him be a ninja for quite a while now, I can't really put him in 1st. So Jay has always been the funny one throughout the entire series, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't think he has ever actually made me laugh, and that has pretty much been Jay's one defining trait throughout the entire series, which wasn't a bad thing throughout the first 7 seasons, because I did give Jay a lot of good focus, especially Skybound. If Jay already wasn't my favorite ninja before then after that season came out, he definitely would have been. But in the recent seasons, similar to Kai, he has been in the background for the most part, apart from Prime Empire and the first few episodes of Crystallized. But I've got to say that I am very excited to see what they have in store for Jay in the administration and his possibility of him becoming a bad guy, which might even be confirmed by the time this video comes out. But in 1st place, we have Aaron. That's right, Aaron has only been in 1 season of Ninjago, and he is already my favorite. And I think that is because he is just the most relatable out of the ninja, at least to me. We are both around the same age. He is a big fan of the ninja, and he doesn't have any elemental powers. And not to mention, we are both clumsy. Like, I am absolutely not joking here, but I have accidentally punched myself in the face so many times. So yeah, Aaron is my favorite ninja, and I'm sure that is a very hot take. But let me know your list in the comments, and then check out this video where I ranked every Ninjago ninja suit. See you later, be ninja.